yeah, as one film, I can understand how it is so well reviewed and so well seen, because this movie really does save everything.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
You like pizza time?
Pizza time.
Hey, welcome back. We're back. We're in the same clothes. It's happy Friday or Saturday, depending on when we post this. But we're back, baby, for part 2 of our most requested movie of last week. Gangs of Wasseypur Part 2. I know you guys are dying to know what we thought of that because we loved Part 1 so much. It's one of our favorite films. That's a little sarcasm. If you haven't watched that, go watch the Part 1 review before watching this one. If you're new to the channel, thank you for liking and subscribing. And everybody else, thank you for subscribing. We want to remind everybody to, if you haven't, hit the bell or the button, whatever it is, gray it out on your screen. I don't know how it works. Just do that, because once we get to 1,000, we will do the reaction video you guys have requested. Many people have requested, of the most ridiculous Indian film ever, which you guys will vote on. Again, I saw a trailer or something, some YouTube short of a guy. It was raining out, Ed. He was at some sort of shipyard. What? Yeah, and he had a machine gun, and he was literally like dancing with the machine gun, shooting people. like he looked like fucking like Robert Downey Jr. or something in no, he looked like Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder when he's just yeah, or you know,
I like it. All right,
where they think they're in the movie. But yes, we'll let you guys tell us what is the craziest Indian movie we can react to, but only when we get to 1,000 subs. When we do that, we'll do that.
Only then.
Yes, only then. But anyway, that's not back to the point of today's discussion. We're giving our thoughts and review of Gangs of Wasseypur, Part 2. So for those that want a quick recap, we did not love Part 1. Part 1 was fine. It was saved by performances by Sardar Khan and Nagma, the mom and husband. And that's about it. That's really the only redeeming factors of that movie. Very dialogue heavy, very exposition heavy, not our cup of tea. Subscribers, you were dead on. Good job telling us that. But hey, we're going to talk about Part 2 because, Ed, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
Because I think there's going to be a change of opinion. But what did you think of Part 2?
Okay. I have a change of opinion slightly, but significantly though. Significantly, because
no, wait a minute, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, hold on. I'm gonna make sense of it. I'll make sense of it, maybe. Part 2 is 100% better than Part 1 in almost every way possible.
Not almost. It is better in every way.
It is better in every possible.
Get out of here with the almost.
Yes, you're right. And in particular, what kicked up was, in my opinion, for me, I don't know what it is for you. For me, it was the story. It just finally got a stride of like, oh, now both sides, the Kreshis and the Khans, are feeling the consequences of everything that happened in that setup, essentially now.
Yes.
And not only that, but we get a fantastic, and a character I actually really I liked and I attached to.
Yeah.
Faizal, who's the second child of Sardar, and him becoming the head of the clan, and what he does and who he is fantastic. It completely just took over the movie. If we see this as like one movie, this is the movie. This is like where the movie, I think, is the movie in a sense, and it becomes further than like this setup of a gangster movie that happened. And of course, Faizal is played by Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who we know from The Lunchbox, who was fantastic in that. And he just revs it up in this one.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, this psychotic dude who you relate to. You know, I actually related to him in this in this particular half of the movie, because everyone understands the pressure of. Well, not everyone. I'm an only child, but I can understand, like, you know, all that pressure sort of building up to on your shoulders. You know what I mean? Yeah, and like you being looked to like figure out what the fuck you need to do, and like needing to step into shoes quickly, and to bring that sort of to bring up your family in that sense. So I in every way possible, I thought the movie really, really picked up this. The characters were fantastic. They're much more interesting and lively and quirky with the brothers. And there were some sequences I thought were really good that picked up from before. I'm like, where did this come from? Why weren't we seeing this filmmaking in the first part? So, I overall, as a whole movie, I still can't say like I would go through this whole thing again. It's still 2 hours and 40 minutes yet again. It's way too long.
Yeah,
but it definitely is a better movie in part 2. 100%.
Yes,
not even close.
Yeah, dude, it is a really, really massive step up, and I think I can understand how they put these two movies together, and I think on Rotten Tomatoes it's put as one film. So I mean, I guess as one film, I can understand how it is so well reviewed and so well seen, because this movie really does save everything. And again, you nailed it when you said Faizal. He is that character that you can actually relate with. Everybody knows the pressure of being a sibling, even if you don't have siblings, I think is a really good point. And like, it's not just even like the sibling stuff. He brings so much like just like humanity to the level, because he's not, you can't really relate to Sardar Khan because he's a shit dude, No. He's he's like a dick. He's just not great. But you can kind of relate because, he's not a good person either, but like you can relate to it because he's perfectly imperfect is a good way to put it, I think,
Yeah,
and having that character really, really, really kind of like just saves the movie. And this movie picks up with Sardar Khan's death, and you start to wonder, will it be Dinesh that takes over? And I was not expecting Dinesh to go so fast. I thought, I was like, it was like 10 minutes in, and I was like, oh wait, what the?
I was like, oh, we have another major death.
Oh,
wow.
So now it's clearly Faizal now, and watching him come up and run. I mean, he's so flawed because he's always on marijuana. He's always smoking hash. He's always doing something,
He's always high.
He's always high because you can see because he always has dead eyes. Which, I mean, come on, like the way, how the hell do you act and just have no emotion in your eyes? What a fantastic job!
It's a knockout performance, man. It's so good. It's so good.
It's fantastic, like what
it's
he
really
does.
Good.
And like again, like he anchors down the film. And then so many great sequences happen. Like we get the second part of the attack on their house, if you will, but we get it from the opposite point of view. That was fantastic to watch all the bullets like kind of rain in, and what was going on the inside, and they thought he was dead. That was so good. We get to see,
well done.
Yeah, we get to see he has that great line where he says, "I will avenge father and brother and your son and everybody and grandfather." And then he goes and he literally, I think in what is the bloodiest scene of the movie to its point, right? He literally cuts the guy's head off in this scene where just the blood is just spurting up. Like, that's a really well composed shot, dude.
Yes, 100%.
Wonderful shot.
Greatly directed, the blocking, the light, that shot. That's easily the best shot in the film. It's the best sequence in the film, part 1 and 2, in a sense. It's also just one of the best. I think it's one of my favorite scenes in a movie I've seen in a while. I mean, it's an old film, but it's a fantastic scene, dude. It's, I watched that scene going, where the fuck was this in part 1? Like, just the creativity and the vigorousness. It's so. Holy shit, man. Just the way it's like a horror film almost, and yet it's so real. Like the way he grabs him, he just starts going, and you just see his arm just like he's cutting paper. It's ridiculous. And then his body's shaking. It's horrible. It's absolutely terrifying and horrible and weird in a weird way. It's just I don't know. It's so out of nowhere for the film. Like, it's so shocking. And it's so well done, and the subsequent hanging of the head out in the front. It's almost, it's basically the horse head scene in Godfather. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I
But
akined it to, but I didn't
but
watch.
like you don't get to see them killing the horse. You get to see him killing this motherfucker though, and Jesus,
Yeah.
right? Wow. I mean, it's definitely easily one of my favorite kill scenes in any gangster film for sure.
I would agree.
So,
Yeah, and then he like leaves it on his mother's doorstep. That is like, and he like
wow.
from that moment on, he clicks into this. What I would basically say is he's trying to live the life of a Bollywood star. Because Radamir Singh has this amazing quote where he says, until cinema is banned in this country, everyone will be an idiot. And he's not actually at that point. He's talking to his son JP, who's at the theater too much, but he's basically saying, that Faizal's an idiot. He thinks he's untouchable, blah, 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 and I think that's a really well done parallel in how they shot him walking with the slow motion and with the pager and all that stuff. Really well done, man. I just
glasses
really like,
the pager. Yeah, it's I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but like Faisal just like took this movie to another level. What they did with him, it's like I don't know. I just wish they found this with a lot of the 50 other characters in part one that could have had it. And they all kind of just, I guess, saved it for Faisal. And it's unfortunate, but also I guess it really, really works for the film because, yeah, he immediately is just someone that you are immediately struck by and entertained by. There's also that great scene where he's like trying to impress his future wife. I forget her name, sorry, but he's, they're trying to see a movie and he's bothering her about like, I won't touch you, I won't do this, I won't do that. She's like, are you sure? It's stuff like that that's just like it becomes a little bit of a romantic comedy and it elevates this gangster movie above what it was doomed to kind of be, which is just a normal gangster film. And it was moments like that I was like, okay, that's cool, that's fun, that's not something I expected. It's not particularly like Martin Scorsese or Coppola or anything like that. So man, it's just, again, Faisal was the key. What can I say? He was the key to unlocking this movie and taking it somewhere that it was just not going. Going in part one.
Yeah, and I think part one, to give it, I guess, its credit, was more there to set up all of the family members. And let's talk about it's not just Faisal that does great. There's Perpendicular, who is an insane character to be putting in. He is just off the walls. This is what happens when a person is raised to think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And like, dude, that guy, every scene he's in is equally as hilarious and equally as engaging. And he ultimately meets a very untimely death, but it's all his fault. A
little trigger happy there.
Yeah, basically the town is forced to say kill him because we can't deal with him. His adjectives anymore. He's stealing everything. He's taking everything. But he's a great character. And then you get Definite, which can we talk about Definite and the mom story for just an angle?
Yeah,
because
it's fantastic.
The only note I wrote when I saw that it was Sardar's second wife, which it's not Nagma, that's his first wife, Durga, which its second wife who actually led them to kill Sardar Khan. Boy, oh boy, I wrote women. Fucking women. Not that it's just like I say that jokingly. Obviously, it's not just
it's also within the context of the film. 100%. Yeah. Of course. No, you called it.
But
right?
I said I wrote down a note in the first one, just thinking I hadn't even gotten to the second one yet. Was just saying I feel like his family is going to be his downfall, and
100%.
There it is. It's his second wife, the man who just couldn't keep his hands to himself. It comes back and bites him in the ass, as it probably should. Don't cheat.
Hard.
I'm sure it's hard. I mean, it's India, maybe it's a different culture, but don't do it here. Anyway, to get back to the point, when I see her and I saw that it was all her fault why Sardar was murdered that day, I was like, oh man, that is absolutely brutal. And then you find out that she named her kid Definite because he had one definite mission, and that was to take over and kill all the Khans, because that's what he wanted to. That's what his mom wanted to do, and I don't know what's worse in life, being named indefinite or raising your son
To be
you know, to be that.
yeah,
You know, like
be
what's
this.
worse actually
I
in
don't.
life?
I
You know,
mean,
like
definite is quite the name. It's definitely. I love how they kind of have that small scene referencing how ridiculous that name is. They're like, what's definite mean? What's definite mean? Deaf?
Yeah.
Deaf? Oh yeah, deaf means like you're deaf.
yeah.
He's like, net
Oh,
is
that
net.
scene, God, dude,
It's so good.
the comedy bits in both movies, dude, are really good.
Yeah, they're really good.
definite. No, yeah, those scenes
Yeah,
are
yeah.
so
They're
funny.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I
Um,
mean it's really great the way that all this stuff started to trickle down the ladder of like, okay, yeah, you're right. Again, this is the consequences part of the movie where you're just like, okay, cool. Now you see that this kid's in play and he's built to take down that family. Everyone's just trying to kill each other and everyone has their chess pieces in play, and then you just sort of see it all unfold. This is the movie that I wanted to see since part one.
Yeah.
At some point I was like, oh, fuck part one. Like we could have just we could
Yeah,
have just done part two, man. Like
at about toward the end, before the big hospital scene, before everything goes down, and he, takes his final revenge for his grandfather, Faizal. He has, I think, there's the only moment of any vulnerability or any like actual human being is where he breaks down inside his house and says he can't do this. Why is he doing this? And there's, it harpens back to earlier in the movie in part two where I believe her mom, I'm not sure who says it, but someone tells Faisal, you're not built for this.
Yeah.
No,
it's not her mom.
Is it Sardar? Is it like in a flashback?
I don't remember. I forgot. Yeah, you're right. There is that moment.
Someone says you're not built for this, son.
No,
Yeah.
the mom was like, the mom was the opposite. Like, grow some balls, bitch. Like, do something, motherfucker.
Yeah, go venge.
Go venge.
but yeah, man, it is insane. There are so many just so many jaw-dropping moments in this in this movie. Like I think that you want from a gangster movie. Let's talk about some of those.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about
some of yours.
One, Perpendicular getting beat to death by a rock.
Yeah,
that was harsh. But
I had that.
The one that tops that is Sultan killing his sister after chasing Definite into that house. He chases him. He can't find him. He says, "Oh, do you want something? What are you doing here?" He literally pulls the gun on his own sister.
Wild.
I was like,
yeah. I mean, he said it. He said that's exactly what he said he would do.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like from his perspective, like he was right. Like it's exactly what he said would happen, and it happened. And I definitely don't shoot your sister in the head, but
hey, don't do that.
It was sad. It sucked to see, but again, it's all the what gangster movies are, or fighting for the throne, like these movies that have that. It's like, look, y'all make your decisions, right? People say what you're supposed to do, and they're threatening and they're foreboding, and you do it, and there's consequences. And in a place where there's no law, it's just like, all right, that's all you have. That's all you have is your decisions, and then there you go. And then it's sad because I feel like death is such a mundane thing at some point for these families. I wonder if people even care that much. You know what I mean? Like it's like they've lost a bit of humanity. I feel like a little bit by not being able to just. It's just such a common thing that happens. It's so weird. Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Did she live, by the way? Because she was in a coma.
She was in a coma, right?
Did she live? I don't know if they go back to that. Yeah. Anyways, hopefully she did.
Yeah, maybe she did. I don't plan on rewatching the film anytime soon. But yeah, this is a oncer every 6 years.
Definitely a oncer.
Yeah. But yeah. Anything else you really enjoyed from the film? Any moments? I mean, we haven't talked about the big end scene yet, but get to that.
The big end scene
where Faisal finally goes and kills Ramadir Singh.
Oh yeah. So
in the hospital,
the whole hospital Yeah, we can talk about that. Oh, I want to talk about the subsequent scene, the way that the movie ends. That was really good. No, but I mean, the shootout. That's straight up Tony Montana right there, right? That's
where he just keeps shooting. Yeah,
he's just like he's not fazed by anything. He's completely straight the entire time. He uses one hand. Yeah, like it's pretty bad. It's pretty badass. Like that's how you want it to culminate. And he gets over there to Ramadir and just fucking annihilates him. Keeps shooting him even after he's dead. Like it's satisfying. But that end scene. Okay, did you expect that? Did you think that because after all that chaos in the hospital, you kind of I think they did that on purpose to sort of make you forget, like, oh, there's still a bit of a loose thread here with Definite and the mother. So when that scene happens at the very end, when Definite shoots Faizal, were you shocked, or did you see it coming? Did you like, oh, there's still something that this movie has to finish?
I was, I was like, I don't think I saw it coming, but I was wondering, like, where does this end? Does it just go to black here? Does it go then boom, he gets shot in the chest? And I was like, oh shit, that's how it ends, dude. It's
what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it, and I thought it was look, I don't know if it's the ending to this saga of, Singhs versus Khans or anything like that, because it just seems like it's going to continue now with the sons, JP and Definite, because JP needed his father out of the picture too.
Right.
It was just, it was like a never-ending circle. It was almost like, let's reset it a little bit,
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it is funny the way that it does end. You have the two sons, two sons from the initial, fathers or whatever. I mean, is it a truce, right? Is it an understanding?
Yeah,
you killed everyone that was doing this. Then on your side, I killed everyone on my side, so we can start anew, right? It's never said specifically, which I thought was great. Like, you just don't know, but you do understand. Okay, these two characters who more or less, I don't know, maybe you feel like deserve all this to be over for everything they've been put through. Maybe that's enough, right? And that, like, it is the end of that story, of that entire thing that was started all the way back in Shahid's time in Sardar in the 40s. So I liked it. I thought it was great. I liked it too. Yeah, I hated seeing Faizal go because he's like the best character, but at the same time, I'm like,
he had to go.
Yeah, you had to go.
Somebody's
the famous saying in gangster movies: you gotta go.
So I agree with that. I think that it was the proper ending. Everybody else in this family is pretty much dead. There's that insane scene in the fucking where she's just shopping and they kill his mom.
Yeah. Oh man. To see her, I didn't think they were gonna kill her and not see her. I thought they were gonna go all the way. Yeah. They call, like, everything in this movie just gets ratcheted up to 11, really, and I think that's why the movie works. Where part one really kind of dragged its feet setting up the pieces. This one didn't spend its time doing that. It just said, here we are, let's go. So do you think, my other question for you then is, do you think this could have been a 3-hour movie altogether? If maybe we just started off with Faizal at the end of the first movie with some pickup of like the story beforehand, do you think there exists a cut of this where it starts there and could be just consumed in like a much tighter time?
Yeah, I do. I think it could be, like, to be honest with you, I think it could have been, I think this would have been much more consumable if it was each was a 2-hour movie. If in part one we picked up with Sardar, forget about the rest of the fucking hour before that, and that's just an hour 40, and then, you cut out bits and pieces here, again, I do feel like this movie, maybe our commenters and our subscribers can tell us, did you guys like all the business stuff? Did you feel that was necessary? Because for me, it's a nice to have, but it doesn't feel necessary. Like, I don't need to know what business you're in to be a gangster. You're doing something, so just do it. I don't really care. Like, I've seen The Sopranos. I couldn't really tell you what Tony Soprano actually does. Tell me what
That's a
he
really
actually
good
does.
point. That's
you know,
a really
like
good point.
we know he's a gangster. You know they're badass. That's all we need to know about him. Like you guys give us so much information and background. It goes from coal to mining iron. That's it.
Yeah.
Iron, and then he gets this guy who can speak English that does other things that I can't remember.
Yeah, that guy.
You know,
that
like,
whole I feel like that was unnecessary at that point. Yeah, it's like, wow, another guy. We're like, what, 30 minutes to the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Dude. Like,
another guy that's trying to take over the business where we know he's probably gonna die. Which, by the way, that scene was badass when they send Definite in to kill that guy, and he says, "Oh, I got this for you," and it's a freaking grenade. I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't see that coming. But yeah, like again, maybe this is a cultural thing, but was it important to understand that Faizal, was fair with his prices or whatever? Oh, if they say it's this and that's that, so this guy's going to come in and take advantage of it. I
agree with you. I mean, there's a lot. Again, I don't know what it is about that kind of thing. Like, who is at what point is this, like, what audience are you going for, right? Because I feel like most general audiences would definitely not care about that stuff, and yet they, it's in there. So is it for the is it for the fathers? Is it for like these older men who love history? Like my dad eats that shit up. Like he watches History Channel all the time, and I fall asleep. So he really is into the nuance and the details, and maybe that's sort of what that crowd is playing to. But on the other hand, it's like, but you have all these really cool, like more entertaining parts where much more people, it would be more accessible if you just kind of focus on that. It's almost like the Star Wars conundrum, like the prequel conundrum, where it's like, whoa, we're all talking about like viceroys and shit in politics, and like nobody gives a fuck about any of this shit.
Yeah,
like we've learned our lesson on that. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah,
people maybe find that interesting. I don't really.
It's like you're in a follow too. It's like you're in a really fast car, but you got flat tires, so you can't really go that fast at times. That's like it's just something that's holding you back.
It's holding it back. For me, that's a great analogy.
That's how I felt.
I agree with you.
Other moments from this film that you really like. I mean, the father had so many. Radamir Singh had so many good lines in this movie. I wrote down, this is Wasseypur. Here, a pigeon also flies with one wing, protecting its honor with the other. Dude, it's got it's so many good lines. Dude.
That was a callback to, that was an extension of the line in the first movie too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
They talk about the pigeon. One here in Wasseypur, the pigeon like flies with one and then covers its ass with the second or something like that. That cop says, or that butcher says it to the cop, something like that. Anyways, that's a good tie-in.
Yeah, line. I'm pretty sure the movie also starts with the narrator, which is the uncle, I believe. Saying human beings are only of two natures. One is a bastard, the other is a fool. That's a fantastic line. Like, good job. Wow, the dialogue and stuff.
Interesting. That's an interesting line. I had to think about that for a second. I'm not 100% sure if I understand what it's really saying, but I think that's probably true.
Yeah, I would agree. I
think it is kind of true.
I don't fully understand it either, but I would say it's probably true.
Yeah.
Again, something else I really liked about this film, but that's carried over from the first fairly, that I'll say, is the comedy. Definite in particular, they are very funny. When Definite's there to kill, I'm not sure who he's trying to kill in the market. They send Definite, but he has the motorcycle helmet on, and he can't see and he can't hear.
Oh yeah.
And he has this funny comedy bit where he puts the phone up and he goes, but he's trying to hide his face because when people see his face, they'll know who he is and he knows what he's here to do. So he has to have the helmet on. That's all really funny. Like, I think something that's nice about these movies, both of them together, to give them both credit for it, they're not like professional killers. They're not like really good at it. They're actually really bad at it, that does give a little charm to it. I
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. What else did you like about the film? Anything else you want to say? Any cons? We haven't really said many cons about the movie.
I mean, I think we cover cons. Here's the thing. It's like, so I don't have anything under cons just because I feel like there are a lot of the cons from the first movie sort of carry over too, because it's essentially the same movie.
I would, yeah.
But that being said, I could only focus on the good things because they were coming at me so
Fast.
quickly.
Yes.
That was just not something that I was expecting. And so again, it's still the same movie. So there are, it's too long. I think they still could have cut some stuff out. Like, it's just too fucking long. You don't need so much. You don't need.
I feel like all of our subscribers are going to just leave us because all we say about all these movies is they're too long. They're too long.
Well,
and then,
this is definitely one of the ones where I'm like, no, it's too long.
We're gonna, Mission Impossible 7's coming out, and we're gonna just be singing its praises, saying it's 3 hours. Watch, it's gonna be 3 hours, and we're just gonna be saying, "Oh, it wasn't too long at all," and they're gonna be like, "You guys are a bunch of hypocrites."
If it's entertaining all the way fucking through, then it's not too long. But unfortunately, this one is boring in a lot of the parts.
Yeah,
more so the first one than the second. I'll say that. But there are parts in part 2 where I'm like, okay, like, we really
we get it.
Like,
it's a business. It's illegal.
Let's get back to the characters.
He's doing bad things. Yeah, move on. Let's go.
There's a lot of that still.
It's
so
a lot of that.
Whatever. And so it's not a perfect movie, but it definitely the story picks up, and that's all I can really say about it. Like, it's definitely the one part that I would watch again if I had to, but again, it's still too long and there's just too much. I just wouldn't watch it again. But
one last thing I want to say is that India, I am jealous of the fact that how many like amazing male actors you guys have. It's insane. Man. Like, here in America, we have amazing like female women actors, but like our male actors, we're still waiting on some to kind of like come up and do something big, and we just haven't. Like, there's not really anyone besides Tom Cruise anymore.
Damn,
that you can put a tentpole on. Yeah, and that's the last thing I want to say about this, because this is yet another movie. Even in the first one, which we didn't love, Manoj, did an amazing job as Sardar Khan, and then Faizal just kind of takes it up and ratchets it up to 1,000,000. But even then, you have so many other good male actors here that are still very, very well, and the women match them in almost every way on screen. Like, the presence they hold and the way that they can carry a movie, it makes me jealous, because we're like losing our stars here in America. We're waiting for the next big American actor to kind of get there. But like, I don't know. I feel like we're just at like a lull right now.
You're 100% correct. To be fair, this movie is 10 years old now. So, but at the same
that's
time,
a good point.
you're right. No, but you're right. It doesn't stop the fact you're 100% right, man. Like, look, but again, Pathan just came out, and there's a bunch of new Indian movies that clearly have not lost that whole, stars are stars and
superstar.
They're a superstar, and you watch them because they're great.
Yeah.
There's no political message. No, you're 100% right. We completely lost that. Even the stars know that. A lot of, like, Anthony Mackie completely understands. Like, I mean, you know my name. I've been around for a second, but overall, like, you don't know me because I'm Anthony Mackie, and because of the superhero characters that me or a lot of my colleagues play now.
I mean, we have Ryan Reynolds, but like, are we putting Ryan Reynolds on the level of Nawazuddin?
But I'm gonna be straight up, man. Ryan Reynolds cannot act. He just can't. He plays Ryan Reynolds, and that's fine. But he doesn't act. He's not like Salman. He's no Salman Khan. He's no SRK. He's no, he's
Amir Khan.
He's not Amir Khan. He's not these guys who can do it all, and they entertain you, and they also make you cry, and they also make you forget that they're them. And we don't have a lot of that. Chris Pratt, biggest superstar like right now in the world, and he's fine. He's better. I probably argue he's a better actor than Ryan Reynolds.
I'd argue that,
but I don't know. Well, he's not there yet. I mean, he's not going to do these movies. You're not going to see him in a Scorsese movie soon. So
right.
You're 100% right. It makes me really, really sad, because we used to have that. And
we got Leo, but Leo comes out with a movie once every 2 years now, and like
he's not.
And like Leo movies, you should see him. And Brad Pitt, but he's aging. I'm a little jealous. You guys got
you're 100% right.
Besides even the three that we mentioned, SRK, Salman Khan, and Amir Khan, you guys got Ranbir, Rabnir, you got this Nawazuddin, everything, you guys. It makes me jealous. Anyway, I think that's overall. One last thing. Overall, how would we rate the movie? if you will.
Part 2.
No, both.
Specifically?
No,
as
overall, both of them. Yeah.
Shit. I mean, look, again, it has faults. It has major faults, and I typically, for me, what I deem as good movies largely hinges on the idea of like, could I watch this again? And I wouldn't watch these movies again because the faults I think do outweigh in that sense. But
Yeah.
it's not it's hardly like they're bad movies, but they're just not for me. And I also just I wouldn't watch them again. So I would definitely put like this, it's lower on the list. Unfortunately, I would watch English
Yeah.
even over this for sure. 100%. Again, like a lot of these in just like the action movies we've seen, it's not a repeat watch for me.
Yeah.
And it's not just the fact that it's long. It's there are like weaker parts of the film too. So, you know,
yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
I'd agree. It's not, I would definitely watch part 2 over watching part 1 again. But it's, they're not, as we've said before and several times in this review, as we wrap things up here, these movies aren't our cup of tea, but this podcast is about experiencing all the films that India has to offer and all the films other regions have to offer. So that's what we're doing. And
I still appreciate seeing it. I don't regret seeing it. I
agreed. Yeah, and there's
most movies, but it just wasn't for me.
Here's the last question for you. This movie or My Name Is Khan? Which movie was Ed watch more?
God damn it, that's such a good question. That's such a good question, man. Oh no. Oh no. This is hard, dude. I can't wait. Okay, hold on. Part 1 and part 2 as one. It's just one
you gotta put them together. They gotta come as a package deal.
You can't do this to me, man. It's so hard. Oh, it's like, look, man. The highs of Wasseypur definitely overshadow the highs of My Name Is Khan. But My Name Is Khan is so much more digestible. I can get through that so much easier. Oh fuck, dude! I hate you. Could you have? I gotta say, My Name Is Khan probably. Dude, I cannot go through 2 hours and 40 minutes again. I just of the part 1. I just can't do it.
Yeah, part 1's brutal. Part 1's brutal.
I mean,
I agree.
I had problems with My Name Is Khan, but I could watch that. I mean, I could just watch it again. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But to watch Gangs of Wasseypur again, it's like an event. I'd have to like make sure I'm not doing any. It's just such a thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to say that almost because part 2 is so good. But I know if I have to watch it from the top, I'm sorry. No, there's no way. There's no fucking way.
Well, our recommendation is read the Wikipedia page for part 1 and then watch part 2. And then
that's how I would do
you guys will love it. Yeah.
If I see someone watching part 2 on a TV, I'll sit down and watch it for sure. I'll be like, oh yeah. This is the part. That's like the good part right here.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good place to end it. Ed's got to go golf with his dad for Memorial Day, and I'm just gonna relax and do nothing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for liking, watching, subscribing. We'll see you next time.